So apparently there's a swimmer, like right now, known as the Shark, trying to apparently again swim across Lake Michigan from Michigan to Wisconsin. Ends up in Milwaukee. I think it's supposed to be like an 80-mile trip, take about 72 hours. How far do you think you would make that trip? How many miles?
Half a mile.
I thought, I thought you meant like 40 miles, like half of it. You're like, I could like go across a swimming pool, but not like lengthwise, maybe like widthwise. I think I could. Hey, if you go to you can actually track him right now.
I can. That sounds fun.
Jim the Shark Dryer, DREYER.com. And you can like real time see where he is. He started last night at 6 o'clock. We'll talk about more after the bump because it's a really fascinating story. Good morning, everybody. It's Positive Tuesday today, September 3rd, 2024. For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden, and you're watching The Big Show, Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by Professional Exteriors and Interiors. With 20 years of experience, this locally owned and operated business provides quality work both on the inside and on the outside of your home or business. Give them a call today, see what they can do for you. The number's right there on the screen, 715-520-2271. Like Fitzy and I, they believe it's the little things that make a big difference. Did you see the website? Have you gone on there?
I'm getting it. I'm loading the spot. We're going to see where he is.
I checked it this morning, and he's not going in a straight line.
No, he's not going in a straight line.
No, and I don't know if that like currents or follow the. I don't know anything about lakes, so I don't know.
You left at night. Why would you leave at night?
6 o'clock last night. I don't know. And apparently he tried this like 3 weeks ago, and he's already done it once, like many years ago. But he's 61.
Why do you think you don't go in a straight line?
I don't. That's just it. I don't know anything about lakes. I don't know how that stuff works. But he failed 3 weeks ago. He made like 60 miles in, but his GPS went out. So he was like going in the wrong direction. I'm looking at this going, I feel like maybe your GPS is out again, buddy.
Yeah.
I can't really tell.
He's not making it work.
Well, he just started. Man. Yeah.
It takes him how long?
I thought I read in the story that it was 72 hours of no sleep and 80 miles, which that seems like a lot of miles in a short amount of time, but
I don't know.
I don't know. Hey, it's our 200th episode.
It is.
That's
Happy
nuts.
200th anniversary.
Right. I don't know how you say that.
What do you get for your anniversary present?
I don't know.
For the 200.
I don't know. We should have thought of something.
We should have balloons or something. We should have balloons behind you.
Oh.
Are your kids back in school?
Yeah, I think officially starting today. How about you?
Well, I don't have kids in school anymore, but yeah.
Right. Yeah. What's Jay's doing?
Yeah, he's playing hockey, but he's hurt. He's injured. Hurt his shoulder in practice, and he had to sit out. He's got a scrimmage this week he's going to miss, but he'll be ready to go next weekend when we play.
All right. School officially starts today for a lot of people. Is it down there too? Because like last week they started, but it was like more like, I don't know, training or like peer stuff.
Right. Some first graders or fifth graders or freshmen. And a lot of these schools do it in doses, which I like. I think that's neat, rather than just throwing all these freshmen in a big school full of a bunch of kids. So
it is a good idea. Yeah. Hey, I have one more story. I want to get to this. So by the way, we're going to do our picks. So football season starting, and we always start with sports. So we're not going to go through like 18 games a week and do our predictions because that's like literally a whole show. So we're just going to find 4 that we think have good storylines that we want to just make our picks for. And then at the end of the year, whoever loses, I don't know, maybe has to pay like 2 $25 Amazon gift cards that we give away in the show, or we'll figure that out later. But everyone else can play along too every week.
We're going to keep track though?
Yeah, I'm totally keeping track.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. But we'll get to that in a second. First, here's another really awesome Wisconsin also sports story. I don't know if anybody saw this. The headline, this is from WPR, Wisconsin native makes baseball history by playing for 2 Major League Baseball teams in the same game. Now, there's a little caveat there. It wasn't on the same day. So Danny Jensen of Appleton was traded from the Blue Jays to the Red Sox in the interim of a postponed game. So what happened was in June, he was on the Toronto Blue Jays. He's up to bat, and then the rain comes down, and it was postponed eventually, right? The rain delay, but it's like, all right, let's just reschedule this game. So what people may not realize is that when you reschedule a game, let's say it's the 3rd inning, when you play that game again, you start right back where you were in the 3rd inning with a guy on second or however it was. You don't start the game over. But he already was batting for the team. The next month in July, he gets traded to the Red Sox, which was the team that they were playing. So then on August 26th, they actually were doing their makeup game. So he's on the other team. So if you look at the box score, he actually was hitting on both teams, which is the first time in Major League Baseball history that has ever happened, which that's rare to say that. How cool is that? And a Wisconsin
That is
native.
pretty cool. I did see that story on Sports Center. I thought that was pretty neat.
Oh, I didn't see that one. I saw it this morning on WPR.
Yeah.
Jeepers.
Hey, did you also know that the Packers have some kicker, and he's somehow tied to Wisconsin, or his girlfriend's tied to Wisconsin,
I
like
didn't.
northern Wisconsin.
What?
So the new Packers, it's an undrafted kicker that they're going with as their number one kicker, and either he or his girlfriend are from like northern Wisconsin. So, morning, Patty.
Good morning, Patty, and good morning, Dirk. And we should get her on the show. She can give us all the inside scoop on what's going on with the Packers if it's the girlfriend.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
right.
I'm sure she'll get on our show.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, what was that? I was at the Wolf's Den this weekend. They had some live music, so Holly and I went out there, and the guy he's like, I went to the bar and ordered a pop, and Holly had a glass of wine, and the guy goes, "Hey, it's the guy from that internet show." I loved it.
Aw.
So we have fans. He watches it all the time. He said, "I'm like, I think that's awesome."
Aw.
So,
well, thank you. What do you know? Do you remember his name? Or maybe he never told you his name. Right? Yeah.
It was busy. They were busy, but again,
What's I've heard of the Wolf's Den, but I can't place it. What is it?
that's by Cam. Remember, I said they did that kids fishing derby.
That's right. I'm like, I remember it, but I can't place it.
He does a lot, so I wanted to go out there and see some of his music and visit with all the people. And he has got a campfire out there, and I mean, obviously it was a Labor Day weekend, no big issues. I might write one press release with one semi-serious crash on Highway 8 Saturday morning.
Yeah, I got some pictures sent to me about that and some questions about it. And I'm like, well, if it's significant.
I mean, the road was closed. That's why you got alerted to it, because the traffic operations center was notified. And so then that puts out press releases automatically. So, yeah, I'll have to work on that one. It's my understanding is not serious, not life-threatening, but serious crash.
All right.
So.
I want to go back to real quick. You the Wolf Den. So the guy came up to you and said, "Yeah, I recognize you from that internet show." So he doesn't recognize you as, the sheriff? Like, that's my real job, is the sheriff. I've been the sheriff here for a while in this county. No, I know you from the internet. That's funny.
No. Obviously, and this is the only internet show I do, so I think we're okay.
Okay. All right, let's get to our picks then. Anybody could do this, and hopefully all year long people want to do this with us as well. So we're just going to pick 4 games for the NFL week, because we can't do all 18. It takes too long. We'll just find 4. I have 3 that I think have good storylines, and that's really what we're looking for, is storylines, or maybe just a really good game. So the 3 that I have so far, and you're going to have to find a 4th one. This Friday, the Packers at the Eagles. But the storyline there isn't just that it's the Packers or the Eagles. It's that it's playing in somewhere. Brazil or...
Brazil, I think.
Is it Brazil?
Yeah, I think it is.
I don't know. I know it's like south and not in our country. I don't know. Hold on. Patty says that the Wolf's Den RV Campground Resort and Tavern is a fun place. And there's so many charity events for the community. I know. I'm learning more about them.
Yep.
That's awesome. So, Packers at Eagles. I don't have the lines up in front of me. Do you have the...
I'm working... I don't have the lines.
Well, just go to like ESPN, then NFL, and then scores. And then it'll show the week 1.
I was just seeing where they tried to play, where they're playing. Brazil. Could the Eagles and Packers in week 1 be canceled because of wildfires in Brazil? Oh, that was 2 days ago. Obviously. So
wait, could it actually be canceled?
No, I'm sure not. I'm sure that was 2 days ago. So
all right, hold on. NFL scores. Here we go. So Packers and Eagles. Who do you have winning? The Packers, and again, when I say at Eagles, they are technically the home team, but they're not actually, at home. The line is Philadelphia by 3. Now, I've always assumed that the home team gets, and it's usually pretty accurate, 3 points if you're at home.
Correct. So it's a draw.
Right, but the thing is, they're not at home. They're in a neutral location. So that makes me feel like the Eagles are going to win that game. If you recall, last year, the Packers, last half of the season, were one of the best teams in the NFL. And then the Eagles are the opposite. The last half of the season, they were terrible. but I'm still going to go with the Eagles. They got Saquon Barkley from the Giants. I'm going to pick the Eagles on that one. Who do you have?
I'll take the Packers.
Just because I picked the Eagles, or do you think the Packers are going to win?
No, I think the Packers will win that one. No, I do. I was going to pick the Packers no matter if you picked them or not.
All right. I documented. All right, the next one that I had was on a Sunday game. It's the Titans at the Bears. The storyline there, of course, the Bears, not just because it's my favorite team. The storyline is because that's the talk of the NFL all offseason with Caleb Williams and a whole bunch of new players on that team. It looks like a college team right now where you don't know any of the players, right? Because the transfer portal and NIT, like, who are these players? So that's going to be really interesting to see if they're going to be as good as a lot of people on paper are saying that they should be. I am going to pick the Bears, but only because the Titans are kind of that bad. Who do you have?
Yeah, I take the Bears too.
Okay, Bears. The other one that I have is on Monday night, Jets at the 49ers. Storyline there, of course, is the 49ers are once again going to be considered a dominant team. They're a very popular team, but really the storyline, let's face it, is Aaron Rodgers finally actually playing.
We'll see.
How do you think they're going to do? How do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to do with his age where it is, the talent that he has around him, which is questionable, and not just his age, but he didn't play at all last year. How do you think he's going to do this year?
He'll be fine. I think he'll be fine. Seriously, I do think he'll be fine. I think he'll do good. I'm actually going to take the Jets in an upset on that one.
Really?
Yeah, I think the Jets are going to show some people. I watched a little football this weekend on SportsCenter. Wasn't it nice to have college football on too?
It absolutely was. And Florida State, number 10th ranked preseason, has lost 2 games in a row now. Yeah. That's great. Yeah. Michigan, your Michigan team, I was watching it, and of course I was thinking about you when I was watching that game. They weren't very impressive. They won, but
Badgers.
Badgers, yeah.
Glad they sell beer at the stadium now.
That's right. That's new this year for them.
That's new.
Oh, and apparently their scoreboard. It's like the third largest scoreboard that is put in the whole country in college football. Yeah. Third largest.
Yeah. So,
all right. We should go down to one.
Who are you taking? The Jets or
49ers? 49ers, yeah. I'm rooting against Aaron Rodgers. I can't stand. I couldn't stand him when he was on the Packers. I can't stand him just in life, right? I don't know why. I don't genuinely hate the person, but I do root for him to fail all the time. So
let's look at the Minnesota Giants game. Not just because Sam Darnold. I mean, everybody was kind of looking at Sam Darnold saying he could be the guy, and the Vikings might go somewhere that don't come out Sam Darnold. And so Giants.
So that's the one. Okay, Vikings. Is it at the Giants?
It's at the Giants.
At Giants. Hold on. The line's got to be. Well, the Giants, they got rid of Saquon Barkley. Well, Mike Schaefer is on right now. He can give us his prediction, who he thinks is going to win. Good morning. Oh, thanks, Mike.
Oh.
Thank you. He's been a part of some of our 200 shows. Vikings. The line's got to be 4.5, right? 3.5, 4.5. Holy cow! 1.5 for the Vikings.
Yeah,
that's interesting. I kind of feel what? Do they think the Vikings are that bad or the Giants are that good?
So I'm going to take the Vikings. I think.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Daniel Jones has got a team. So,
all right. Well, we disagreed on 2 of those. So, Mike's prediction is the Vikings win ugly game. So to recap, our 4 picks for this football season, week 1. Packers, Eagles. Fitzy has the Packers. I have the Eagles. The Titans and Bears. We both have the Bears. The Jets at 49ers. I have the 49ers. Fitzy has the Jets. And the Vikings, Giants. We both have the Vikings. So there you go. All right. That is literally the whole show that I have. So because I didn't know what to do. It's a 2-hour show. Well, hold on. Since Mike is on, he's probably just chiming in to remember I got to run a commercial. We'll be back in 15 seconds after a word from Spooner Health.
Spooner Health. Compassion is at the center of everything we do. It's rooted in who we are and why we're here. It unites us as providers, neighbors, and as a community. Learn more at spoonerhealth.com.
All right. So, hey, 200 shows.
200.
Isn't that nuts? It doesn't feel like 200 shows.
No, it doesn't.
I don't know how many it feels like. Have you ever seen the movie The Jerk with from Saturday Night Live, all wild and crazy guys. Steve Martin. You ever seen that movie, The Jerk? Have you seen that movie? Oh, okay. Well, then I won't give the reference, but he was talking about, the first day when we met, it felt like 2 days, and the next day it felt like a half a day, and the third day, well, it just felt like 1 day. Like, I don't know how many shows it feels like, but Representative Gay Man Fitzy, thank you so very much. Congratulations. Oh, thank you. The answer to that is no. I mean, sometimes.
I've been keeping track, Mike, for your bill at the end of the year.
Yeah, he does. Fitzy does remind me. Yep, so 200 shows. So what has the show meant to you over these 200? I mean, we have had, it's not just the conversations that we've had, and some have been heavy and some big topics. A lot of times it's more light, and even if it's heavy topics, we always try to find some levity. But if you just look over the years and what we've had to talk about, from the Jamie Kloss case, or I should say the Kloss case, and the George Floyd, and the national narrative, and riots, the things that we've kind of gone through over the several years now, it's kind of surreal to look back.
Well, how many years has it been? I mean, obviously there's only 52 weeks in a year, so
we didn't start doing like weekly shows until right after COVID, right? Because that's kind of where this show, the Positive Tuesday show started. But we've done our Ben and Fitzy show we did like 20 some shows before that. No, it's got to be more than 4 years, right? I mean, 4 years ago was COVID, and it was like 2018, 2019. Yeah. It's been
because you and your brother started it because it was
Batman show. And you were our very first guest on a live show. Our very first guest.
Right.
There was only two people out of the
became a guest. I didn't even
because you said yes. We asked. So the idea of the show was like nothing. It's like Seinfeld. Like we just didn't know. So when we called 12 people and asked them if they'd want to come on for a show, and they said, well, okay. Is it edited? I mean, is it recorded live or recorded so then we can take things out? I'm like, no, it's just live. Like, okay, that's weird. And then, wait, so it's not a podcast, but it's a video podcast. I'm like, yeah. So people can see me. Yeah. So do you have questions written down? I'm like, no. None. Like, I may have a couple of topics, but we're just going to kind of wing it. And 10 out of 12 people said, yeah, I'm not doing that. Only 2 people said yes, was you and Romaine Quinn. And you were the first guest, and then Romaine was our second guest.
I was like, "What's the connection?" But your dad was the sheriff at that time, so that was our connection. And I think it's meant a lot to me. And I was thinking about it last night a little bit, in looking back at some memories or something on Facebook, and it's just about being positive. And I enjoy Facebook in the fact that there's a lot of positive stuff on there, and there's getting to be more positive stuff. I mean, I think the elections always take us down this dark hole, and I think it's people like us that we have to remember there's good in the world, and sometimes that means we have to be the good in the world. And I think I love that. I think it's awesome. There's bad things that happen in the world, but there's more good things. But the news always sucks in the bad things, and we have to be the positive. So we have to bring the good with us.
We try to. And sometimes, when we provide levity, there's always that fine line, especially when we're talking about something serious. And maybe so far, I have not received anything like any emails or any like, hey, you shouldn't be laughing about a serious so far, I think it comes across like actually organic and natural, because I think most people in life do the same thing, but they just don't see like that's inappropriate. You shouldn't actually, we're not making fun of something. Right. We're just finding a little levity in it, because as you and I have talked before, especially with me, humor is a safe place for me. It's how I process things. Otherwise, it could just be too much heavy.
There's not a lot of good. I mean, there's good in law enforcement if you look for it, but you've got to look for it, and it's got to be good, and you don't know what we prevent in law enforcement. It's school zones. We're talking about school zones, and we're out just having presence. Maybe that presence of our squad car driving down the road stopped a drunk driver, stopped the speeder, stopped to something, made a 2-second delay, and the ball ran out and the person didn't hit the kid. We don't know what prevention does, and that's hard to measure, and it's hard to sell it to county board. Like, we need more squads, more cops, more this, more programs, more money for this. It's hard to sell prevention, because I can't show, man, look, we saved 10 lives yesterday by being out driving around on the road. So you can't sell prevention, and I think that's what this show does. It sells prevention. It's able to tell the story besides 15 seconds. You see these news stories, and some people, like, especially during the election, this and this, and the fact checkers, and it's half right and it's half false, and it's always given me the chance to tell the whole story from start to finish, from a car accident to serious cases to things that law enforcement's not perfect at.
Let me ask you something. I've had offline conversations with some politicians or people that speak to media, and I've asked them this a similar question to this, and that is when you do. I'm sorry, they've echoed kind of what you just said. That doing a 45-minute show when they come on, and I don't care if they're Republican, Democrats, I don't care. It's really just we want to hear more about the human and your process and how you go through these things and your insight. The star of the show should always be the guest, not the host. And a lot of these, of course, these politicians, they have to talk to. I remember talking to Ron Johnson once. He was on our show, and it was I think it was after that we had a conversation, and he had said that it was nice to be able to just be able to talk about things and not have to stop after 10 seconds or 15 seconds, like you just said. I said, is that a problem? Because actually the biggest worry is when you see that show aired or a story that is done based on this interview, they only use part of it. So it's not that they get it wrong, but they only use part of it. But you need to actually, why didn't you use the rest of it? Because that actually was more helpful or explained a lot more. So he said that's the biggest fear is you don't know which parts of what that conversation. You could have a 20-minute interview and they only use 30 seconds. And it's, well, which 30 seconds did they use? He goes, that's the hardest part. You just don't know what they're going to use. You've had New York Times. You've had a lot of national people come in and talk to you, and regional media talk to you. Obviously, local, it's a little bit different, I think. You've always talked about how local media, it's a different dynamic for you, as I think it should be. Right. Have you ever had that fear when you're talking to them, like, I don't know what they're going to use?
And I think, obviously, when I first started off, you took the call instead. I didn't do as many press releases, and now I do press releases because I get this. It's my message going forward now. And most of our local newspapers and media print the whole story, and most of it's just about a crime or an accident. But 100%, we went through that here on the show. I mean, we went through it with Embrace, and when we went through that, I mean, people were taking cuts and pieces of our interviews on this show and interviews that I did, and only putting two pieces of it instead of four together, and it's doesn't tell the whole story. Yeah. The county cut funding, and that's the end of it. Well, the county cut funding because whatever. Yeah. The reason. And
let's not get back into that again.
Yeah, I'm not going down that road. Although someone asked me, would you do that again? I'm like, yeah, I'd do that again. I stood up for what I believed in. Now, would I do it differently? Yes. But would I come to the same result? Probably get to the same results. It would have just been a different way to get there. So, I never back down from anything on this show. And that's what I think you respect and I respect it out of you is that's an important piece of why we do what we do. And I think that's why people watch, because they know it's not fluff. It's not, I'm not going to stand up here and say, I had the greatest this and the greatest that and the biggest this, and we have the biggest fan, whatever. It's not about that. It's not about anything for me. I'm not getting anything. I get a lot out of this show. I don't want to say I don't get anything, but you're not paying me to do this show. I mean, some people have asked me, how much does he pay you? I'm like, he doesn't pay me nothing. I don't do it for pay. I do it for the people of Barron County, because I think this is the way to get the message out. And if it helps some people in Washburn and Sawyer at the same time, great. That's why I do it. But yeah, people think I get paid to do this, and I don't. I said, Ben doesn't get paid to do this. I said, it's his job, but he doesn't make money doing this show. Obviously you have ads, but that's
we have a sponsor, but they're going to sponsor. Right. Yeah. It's not that pays for DrydenWire. That doesn't pay for this show. Correct.
And so I said, it's bigger than this show is just a piece of DrydenWire. And I've just been honored to be part of that. I've been a piece of that. Yeah,
I absolutely love doing these. I look forward to it. Yep. I really do, because I do have other guests on, and I'm not going to lie, there's some I just don't look forward to. It's not because maybe it's the topic or what we're going to be discussing, having candidates on. I think I really like having first-time candidates on that are running for something, because I really do get to learn a lot about them. I want to kind of know more about the human rather than the politics. I want to know the why that you feel the way that you feel, not just this is what I think. Well, why do you think that? So I really enjoy those shows. That's not accurate. Let's just be clear about that, Mike. But no, I really enjoy doing them. And I love it's very rare, I think. It just happened to be this dynamic between the two of us. Like, I can't imagine doing a weekly show with anybody else, to be honest. And I've had a lot of guests on. I can't imagine doing a weekly show because we do have a conversation about a lot of things. And a lot of people don't want to have a conversation. They just want to give answers. And that's fine, right? I totally get that. But it's hard to really find someone that is transparent, that is open, that has dialogue, that also understands humor. Because let's face it, that's a big thing. Who wants to watch a 45-minute long show and it's just totally bland with no humor or laughter whatsoever? Like, I wouldn't want to watch that show. So yeah, we're blessed. I think that we kind of came into each other's lives just at the right time. Again, that was during COVID. That's how Positive Tuesday started. Was we're trying to bring some positivity. We're all in like lockdown or whatever that was called back then. Stay at home or safer at home. And you just started being a guest Tuesdays. And like, we should just do this every Tuesday. And like, okay.
You talk about candidates, and if I'm a candidate running for something, this is my opportunity to tell everything I wanted to say, because you can't do it in a newspaper article. You can't do it on a radio ad. You get 30 seconds. Well, you can buy radio ads and tell your whole story, but you'll be broke. But, it's just...
So what you're saying is I should start charging candidates to come on the shows. Got it.
Well, you're silly if you're a candidate and don't come on the show to tell your story, because you can then take this and use it on your own Facebook or whatever, So, yeah, everybody gets paid but me, obviously.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah.
Clearly.
I can't wait for the day that somebody does decide, for whatever reason, to actually run against you for sheriff, and then they ask to come on for the show. Obviously, they wouldn't be on this show. Okay, you can come on our Positive Tuesday show. That'll be interesting. Like, I always try to, not be biased, but I think, obviously, I want to be up front. Listen, sure, you can come on and I'll behave, but, I don't think you got a shot, buddy. And here's our predictions. We can already do our predictions right now for the election. Done right now. All of our area assembly and senators, if they're Republican, they're going to win. And Kamala Harris is going to win the presidency. There you go. Done. That's it. Locally, Republicans are all going to win. Nationally, Democrats are going to have a good year. There you go.
Yeah. You're right. I think you're accurate. So, there's some bigger races that it'll be interesting. It's going to be a long, 65 days, I think, 62 days, something left. We're talking, but, just don't get bogged down by it. Be the positive in someone's life. I think that's our message that we want to give on our 200th episode, is just make a difference. The little things make a big difference. I think Brian Daniels and Professional Exteriors does that. He continues to do that daily. He does stuff for free, and he helps people.
He does so much.
That's how business succeeds. We talk about a lot of nonprofits on this show, and what people give back from our nonprofit directors, and our libraries are an important piece, and we support all that. But it's just an important thing to keep doing and keep giving back to our community. I can tell you, if you're out there right now looking for something to do and you want to join a board, I can tell you there's lots of boards to join, and lots of things to volunteer at. And I think that's important to keep doing. People don't want to make commitments because they're busy in life. And right now it's a busy time in life. But right now, if both your kids have gone back to school and you're looking for something to do, or looking for something to get you out once in a while and do some things, there's lots of opportunities to make a difference in your community. So please go do that, from libraries to Boys and Girls Clubs to homeless shelters to, tons of nonprofits. In whatever county you're in, we can find you a nonprofit to help. And it doesn't take a lot of time. It doesn't take a lot of effort. But so we hope that they do that.
I agree. Brian here says, in my career training, I learned to approach every new challenge with the mindset that those you work with have positive intent, even if you've had negative experience in the past. Brilliant. Love it, Brian.
Love it. We got to go into being more positive, and I think that's why some of the Democrats, I think that's why they're like fresh air. I think that's why Kamala probably wins the election, because there's some freshness to it. It doesn't matter about policies. I'm not here to argue about any policies, but I'm just saying there's some positivity and moving forward, and not this negativity. And I'm not saying she hasn't been negative. I'm not saying Trump is always negative. I'm just saying there's more positivity in the Democratic message right now than there is the Republican message. And I think that's part of it. I think that's what people are just looking. They're tired of being negative. They're tired of that. And we know all the money that gets wasted in elections. any politician knows there's a ton of money wasted, that we're going to get flyers in our every day in our text messages and flyers in our mailbox, and all of those cost money, and it's just a waste of money, and it's just terrible. I don't like all the
I
money.
wish that people would look at, since we love sports. I think a lot of people at least appreciate sports. I think they would look at it like that, like my team, I like the Bears. And obviously the Mike Schaefer, and we tend to kind of rib each other. He likes the Vikings, and so we'll go back and forth. But if he had a Vikings sign in his yard, and we were neighbors, and I had a Bears sign in my yard, we would totally rip on each other all the time. And when one team won and the other one, and it would just be fantastic and fun. And I hate the Vikings. I don't really hate the Vikings, but they're in the Bears division, so I hate them. I hate the Packers for the same reason, but I don't genuinely hate them.
Right.
So, why can't we just do that with politics? Like, if you got a
Right.
Trump sign or a Harris, same thing. Like, we can actually have fun with it a little bit. But, I don't think less of somebody. Well, maybe Vikings fans. Maybe I do think a little less of them.
You don't. I mean, that's
No.
a good point. I mean,
No.
I wish there's some competitive edges, and yeah, if the Vikings beat the Bears this weekend, they don't play. But let's say they did, the Vikings won, you'd be mad. You're like, oh, Schaefer's got one over on me.
Yeah.
But the next day when you saw him, you were like, hey, you want some coffee? You want to go get ice cream? You're like, yeah.
Now, obviously, there's a difference because one is just a game, and what does it really matter in the big scheme of life? And the other has significant, outcomes and not consequences, but repercussions from these, and I guess consequences, both good and bad, depending on how you look at it, I suppose. So I understand it's not the same, but it is a juxtaposition. I think we can compare them, even though they're different. But I think it's just more of the idea that I don't have to hate someone or dislike them just because of how they stand on things, or who they're voting for. Come on, really? No. Same thing with religion. I believe in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and I believe the Bible is the highest authority. I've never had anyone rip on me for that, and I'm thankful for it. And I don't rip on people if they don't believe in that. That's fine. I don't push my religion on anybody, or my faith, not religion, my faith on anyone. Why can't we do that? More people. The whole United States just needs to be more like Northwest Wisconsin. That's the problem.
We should run for something. We should probably,
Well, first of all, I ran for something. You ran for something.
Yeah, that's right. I suppose we got 2 years. We could probably think about that. If we're going to run, we should probably decide now. If I'm going to be the governor, you're going to be lieutenant governor. So.
Oh, I'd do the lieutenant governor because they don't do anything. That's perfect for me.
Right.
I never have to leave the house. Do everything on Zoom. Love it. All right.
Everything on Zoom.
Fitzgerald Dryden 2026. Love it.
For governor, we should decide though, because we only have 2 years. So 2 years and 60 days. So we just should decide. So, but no, I think we'll just stay sheriff and you stay DrydenWire.
Okay.
We'll be good to go.
Okay. Fine.
We'll make a difference right here. But.
Yeah. Is there anything else? I never thought about this. Is there something we should now kind of add to the show, or I don't know what that would be. If anyone has any suggestions, let us know. But something, I don't know, maybe we could bring in more. I think we kind of cover, and again, today we're not really doing it. There was a couple of stories, insider stories, that updates what Barron County. Usually we go through some crime and court stuff that relates to Barron or any big topics. But I kind of didn't want to do that for our 200 show. Other than that, I don't know. Is there anything that you've ever thought that, what we could start doing or try to do?
No, I think we did it. I really wanted to highlight some of our nonprofits, and I think we had Jennifer, we had Lori, we had Jennifer Jaco on here.
Right.
We've had library directors on here. You've had the Spooner Library Director on. I think we talked about that. I think there's probably more opportunities for that if people really wanted to highlight their organization. I don't think neither of us would be against them coming on the show for the first 10 minutes of the show talking about whatever event it is.
Yeah,
So,
we'll call it 15 good minutes. Well, they do that in PTI, right? 5 good minutes or something like that. We could do, 15 minutes right away to start the show. Have them on, or at some point they just jump in and we have a chat.
If somebody had something they wanted to talk about, I think we'd be willing to talk about it, and good or bad. I mean, we don't always have to like it or,
Well, what would bad be? Who wants to come out and talk about something bad?
Right.
Well, like what?
Well,
What are you thinking?
Right. I mean, that we might not be going to attend it, but whatever. I mean, if somebody wants to talk about their whatever dinner they're having, I mean, there's an event coming up I think we'll talk about in October. St. Clair Valley Sexual Assault's putting on on October, fundraiser, and they need money, and everybody needs money, and so everybody has to decide where they want to put their money, and especially during the election time. But people are still giving. I think from a nonprofit standpoint, I think people are, watching their money. But from a nonprofit standpoint, I think people are still giving. They're still donating. I think the golf outing that Pooner Health did, I think was very well attended and did very good again. So, I think all of that is important that people still continue to do. But yeah, it's a little tighter at the grocery store. We understand that. But everybody's still giving and trying to make a difference in their community. And I think that's what's so cool about where we live. I love where we live, and I love what we do. And I think that's important.
Well, maybe instead of giving, $100 to a presidential candidate, maybe give that to a local organization or a charity.
That's right.
It's going to be like $13 or $18 billion in elections this year. Or, no, it should be close to $20 billion. I think it was $17 billion in the last presidential. It should be close to $20 billion.
It irritates me.
Who has to? I know. That's crazy.
And we're trying to raise, obviously we're going to be kicking off a campaign to raise $4 million for this, our aquatic center and New Boys and Girls Club in Barron County. And man, we could build those in every city if we got the $20 billion instead of spending it on elections. We've always said there should be a number that you can't go over.
Well, they do, right? So hard money, soft money, we're not going to get into all that. But hard money, it is very regulated. Right, and that's how much money you can give to a candidate. I think it's only like individual, like $3,000-ish. So you could give to like congressman, a congressman. It's not that much. Organizations, I think, you give a little bit more, and it's very, very regulated. I think for sheriffs, for you guys, I think it's actually like a percentage of your voting population. Or no, like just your population, not even voting. It's just your population. It's like 5% or something of your population.
The number, and it's like $462 for me.
Right. So that's I have no problem with any of that. It's the soft money. That is wildly unregulated. So you could give, $20 million. This is why we see money getting funneled in from California, New York into Wisconsin elections, and $20 million into a super PAC, or I don't know if there's a limit on how much you can give to a party, like Republican Party. I'm not sure about that. I can't remember. I don't think there is, but maybe there is. Actually, there might be. I don't remember. Either way, you can give it to a super PAC. And of course, they're going to be in, they send out all those flyers, the ones that you get. And when you do start getting those, remember, look at the bottom. If it doesn't say paid for by, always look at that. It's very important. It's like when you read an article, look at the byline. You have to know who's actually paying for that, because there's sometimes, like if Chris Fitzgerald, if you're running for sheriff and I decide to start a super PAC and people are donating to my super PAC or just a PAC, and I'm going to run, I really want Chris Fitzgerald to be sheriff, and you have an opponent. And I decide, okay, to help you out, well, we can give you X amount of money. But remember, hard money is just money directly given to a candidate. Well, I can actually so I'll give you $400. But I'm going to spend $5 million on running ads attacking your opponent. As long as I don't use keywords in that flyer, like vote for and election, and there's like 4 or 5 keywords you cannot use. So now all of a sudden, Chris, you're going, what the frick? You're making me look like a jerk. Because I didn't actually send that out. That was somebody else. I had nothing to do with that ad. So I think in a weird way.
They don't have to call and check with you.
They can't actually. They cannot have any conversation with you about it. So no, the soft money we need to get rid of. Sorry, I went off a rant there, but no kidding. Yeah. That's stupid.
I agree. So
there we go. So just do that. Romaine Quinn, get that done, buddy.
That's right. Let's get in the office and and we hope to have more laughs. We enjoy laughing about it, and we give Romaine a hard time, and Dave Armstrong a hard time. But we know that those guys are working hard to get the job done. But we think they should be working a little harder. Not those two guys. This everybody else.
No, I'll say those two guys. All of you. Why are you even at home right now, or wherever you are? Why are you getting past something?
Let's go vote on something.
Right.
Let's vote by Zoom. I don't care. No. Yeah.
Did soft money bounce? Yeah.
Never.
No. All right. Dirk's telling us we got to wrap it up. Forecast from our official weatherman, Dirk Miller. Under mostly skies, highs will be in low mid-70s today, warm in the mid-70s to around 80 tomorrow. Oh, a little warmer. Lows 50s. That's nice. We can keep the windows open at night. Yeah, that's nice. Wednesday through Thursday night. Wednesday we'll see mostly sunny. 75 to 80. Of course, chance of showers. Tomorrow night, watch out a few of those storms getting into the grumpy side on Wednesday night. Nice. Grumpy side. Highs Thursdays mostly cloudy, 70s. All right. Looks like cooler nights coming up. And then coming up for the weekend, mostly sunny to sunny skies. Don't be shocked to see a few showers or storms around Friday afternoon. Highs are going to be in the upper 50s and lower. Really?
Ooh,
Highs are in the
40.
50s and 60s. Lows and low. Okay, so this week sounds like,
Fall.
pretty nice week. But by this weekend, may start getting a little chilly.
But it'll get chilly in the morning. But just one last shout out. Thanks, Dirk, for the weather. Schools are started today. Every school started today if they hadn't started last week. School zones, watch for kids, school buses, crossing guards. Give them all some space. They're learning their routes. New kids are learning different ways to go to school. They're excited to see each other. So hats off to all of our teachers out there for what they do every day. We couldn't do it without them. So let's have a great, safe school year. And thank you to
Well,
all
and
of you.
remember, if you pass a bus
Right.
in Wisconsin, it's 10 years in prison, mandatory minimum. Did we talk about that last week? No, we talked about that's what it should be. That's right. Never
Should
mind.
be doing.
That's what it
That's
should
right.
be.
So give our school buses a lot of space. I mean, they're stopping. Kids are excited. Kids will be late. They don't know when the buses are coming. So give our school buses more time. And again, just thank you to all our teachers, principals, superintendents out there for a great school year.
And thank you, Chris, for 200 shows, man. And thanks for everyone for
thank you.
watching and always commenting. Obviously, I don't think we would do this if nobody watched. I don't care if some people do or a lot of people do. I don't know. I don't care. But, honestly, if 0 person, nobody, I don't know, part of me thinks I still might do it. But I don't know.
Just to talk to myself.
Just so we can have a conversation once a week. That'd be fantastic. For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm DrydenWire founder Ben Dryden, and you've been watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by Professional Exteriors and Interiors. With 20 years of experience, his locally owned and operated business provides quality work both on the inside and on the outside of your home or business. Like Fitzy and I, they believe it's the little things that make a big difference. Give them a call today. See what they can do for you. The number is right there on the screen, 715-520-2271. We'll see everyone back here next week for another exciting episode of Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy. So until then, thank you for watching, and as always, have a blessed day.